Hello YouTube! So today we'll be talking about the 5th episode of Night Visions. Now for this one, yes, I'll be getting into spoilers again, and no, nothing important happens with the host. I don't know why I keep on bringing him up, but yeah, I guess I'm hoping that one day he'll be important in the grand scheme of things. It just hasn't happened yet. It'll probably never happen. I should really stop mentioning him, but yeah, anyway, so let's just get into what happens in this one. So for the first story, it's Rest Stop, and it's about the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers going on a vacation with some friends of hers and her brother. And where she's going exactly, I honestly didn't really care to learn because I hate all these people. Yeah, you know, with the last episode and how I said the story Now He's Coming Up the Stairs has a really good main character, and that's something that I was really glad to see on this show. This is not the case for this one, because almost everybody in this story is insufferable. So we start off with the very interesting dynamic of Vicky having to go to the bathroom. Incredible. Oh, and Vicky's Sarah's friend. So, yeah, if you were wondering who that was. So, yeah, anyway, they pick up a hitchhiker, Andy, who's played by Jerry O'Connell. So that's cool. So, yeah, okay, so Quinn Mallory shows up in this story, and, yeah, ultimately saves the day by going to a different dimension. It's actually pretty interesting. No, unfortunately, that's not what happens. Nor does he reference Top Gun ever. I am so disappointed by this! But, yeah, anyway, so, yeah, he starts hitting things off with Sarah, and that's really weird to her brother Chuck, but he doesn't have to worry about it for all that long, because soon he's paralyzed and then killed. I would feel really bad for him if I knew anything about him, or if he were actually likable in anything that I did know about him, but unfortunately he did not fulfill my requirement of a person I actually care about, so yeah, I don't care if he died. So yeah, he's dead. Tragic. I was gonna love Chuck so much, I'm sure. Although I find it really weird they killed off Sarah's brother before they kill off her friends, like, just sort of seems kind of weird to me, story-wise, but yeah, whatever. So yeah, Chuck dies and disappears. So Sarah's friends, Vicky and Tim, decided the best idea is wandering around on the road to see if, you know, maybe someone will pick them up. And this does not work out well, as the truck tries to run them over. So they run to the woods where it's safe, but then they get chased by somebody, and for some odd reason, Tim just stops and stares at them. I have no idea why he does this, but this causes his death, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I don't really know why you just decide looking at him would be a really great idea and would help you live in this scenario, but yeah, amazingly it didn't. Oh, and also this scene is completely scored with very loud rock music. Why? I don't know. It's not scary, it's not done for irony's sake, it's just weird. Rock music isn't scary, story. Why do you think it is? Like, they do play it quite a bit. It's a bit annoying, actually. Why would rock music be what's scary to you? I don't get it. I don't get you, show. I don't get you sometimes. But yeah, anyway, rock music. Ooh. So yeah, Vicky just sort of stands around waiting for Tim to arrive from his idiocy So Vicky just sort of waits around for Tim to finally snap out of whatever idiocy decided to compel him to stop and just look at the killer, but that never happened, so she decides to just run away and see if she can get some help at the rest area. And then she's immediately paralyzed and killed too. That worked out well for you, Vicky. I can see why you did this. However, Sarah sees where Vicky is dragged off into, and so she decides to follow her because that's a really good idea. Although, to be fair, there aren't that many other places to go, but, I mean, I would just go get Andy first and then go and check out this mysterious area in the bathroom, which, by the way, is where most of the story takes place. Why they decided the bathroom is such an interesting area, I don't know, but apparently they did. This isn't a good story, guys. So, yeah, Sarah decides to go down and see what's in there, and it turns out that's some weird cellar underground where all the people that were selling stuff on top were killing people to make things out of their body parts to sell. And they are called the Crafties. Seriously, check IMDb. It lists them as crafty number 1, crafty number 2, yada yada. The villains of this episode, okay, the villains of this story are called the Crafties. That should be way more fun than it is. Like, really, it really should be very enjoyable to watch, but no, it's very stupid. And then Andy reveals that he too was a Crafty because, yeah, he really liked their stupid little name. So, yeah, he reveals that to Sarah and reveals that she was apparently a really bad person for some reason, even though we never really saw her being like that. She was being moderately nice to these random people who would weirdly check out her hair, so yeah, I don't really know how else you would respond with than an awkward thanks to that and just have her walk away. I don't know what else exactly annoyed you about her here. Or was it when she didn't want to bang you just because her brother was paralyzed? Yeah, amazingly, that would kind of be a little bit of a turnoff there, Andy, but yeah, I don't know why that was, but apparently that was shocking information to him. So, yeah, then he paralyzes her and kills her, and they use her skin and hair to make stuff, I don't know, and then Andy continues hitchhiking. Amazing. So for the first story, it's not very good. Like at all. This is a very bad story. Like I said, with the brother and everything, some characters feel like they could have more significance, but just die too early to do anything, and really, a lot of the characters that do stick around don't really feel like there was any real point to it. Characters make very dumb decisions, like Tim deciding to just stand and look at the guy who's gonna kill him instead of, running or something. I don't know, maybe he was just getting a second wind and he was just really good at hiding that. I don't know, but he was just standing there doing nothing, just looking at it like, they're gonna kill me. I don't know. Maybe if I run, I could get away. No, that's a dumb idea. No, I'll just stand here and look at him some more. And yeah, no, amazingly, that's not a good idea, Tim. That amazingly does not work out well for him because he's a moron. I mean, to be fair, he wasn't made out to be that smart of a person in the first place, but I thought that he would have at least known that running away from the guy who's gonna kill you is a good idea, but apparently he does not. I'm sorry for giving him the basic level intelligence. And that just brings us to the characters for this story overall, which are dumb. They're very dumb, even on the side of the villains. I mean, like, really, why did they decide to kill Sarah? Like I said, she was being perfectly nice to them, or at the very least nice enough in that scenario, so why exactly kill her? What do you gain by killing her here? Like, really, I mean, it would have been way more creepy to me anyway if by the end of the story she was actually selling parts of her friends and her brother to people. To me, that would have been way more creepy, and she was only doing it in order to keep herself alive, but eventually just became a part of this weird sort of cult thing. That would have been a much more scary ending than, oh yeah, they sold their body parts and yeah, Andy went hitchhiking again. The story just really doesn't pack as much of a weight to it as I think it wants to. It thinks that a lot of things about it are really dramatic and scary, but it's not. Like the rock music, I really don't get why they play that over a scene where they're running away for their lives. Like, what's the point of that? Like, is it supposed to raise tension or something? Because it did not do that for me. So yeah, this story just really did not work to me at all. Oh, and then there are the villains. The Crafties. stupidest name ever, for one. And also, they just aren't really all that intimidating. They're just hippies and stuff who are kind of insane. Like, at the very least, hey, let me look at your hair, girl, in the bathroom seemed kind of nuts. So, and yeah, they are all just sort of making stuff out of people's bodies. So, yeah, that's kind of insane, too. But yeah, they don't really seem to be normal even when you first meet them. So I'm wondering how the heck they even sell any of their stuff. And is that really the reason why they kill Sarah? Just because, oh, she didn't buy her awesome tooth bracelet thing that we had. Well, she's no good now. Either that or she just didn't want to bang Andy. Either or. Oh, and then there's also Andy. He is very obvious. I honestly thought they were just trying to do a red herring thing with him, but nope. He's actually a killer. At the very least, Scream 2 knew that Jerry O'Connell wasn't scary, so I can give it that, but this show does not. Seriously, does anyone find Jerry O'Connell scary? I mean, I guess watching Connor is kind of scary. Not because it's, like, actually a horror show or anything, it's just not that good. I've only seen one episode of Connor. I've only seen one episode of Carter. If it gets any better, then yeah, that's amazing. I'm not gonna keep on watching. It didn't impress me. But yeah, so he's just not a scary guy. He just seems like way too nice of a guy to actually be intimidating to me. And knowing his filmography definitely does sort of affect that, as he doesn't do horror that often. And yeah, he's definitely more of a comedy, sort of romance or sci-fi type of actor, and yeah, he definitely fits that bill. But no, this story decided that he should be a killer, and no, he's not scary that way. He tries to be scary, but he just sort of seems normal. He just really didn't fit this role, and yeah, I was never really intimidated by him, even when he's paralyzing Sarah. So yeah, overall this story just really did not this story just really didn't scare me, and it's probably the worst one that I've seen so far. I really hated a lot of the characters, and I didn't care if they died at all. Seriously, when they died, I was just like, okay. So that guy's dead. I didn't even learn his name. What a loss. And yeah, really, I don't think that there's any other way to interpret that, because they're not very likable people. And neither are the villains. They're pretty dumb, too, in their motivation. And honestly, I just didn't really like them all. And yeah, their big ending thing with them being like, oh, they make stuff out of people! It's like Soylent Green, just not scary at all. So, yeah. So this was a really bad story, but is the next one at all better? A bit. So the next one is Afterlife, and this one's about Michael Doyle, who makes a little bit of a grand appearance at his own funeral when he gets out of the coffin. It's a little bit odd to his family, so they rush him over to a doctor, and it turns out that his heart probably just stopped working for a little bit, long enough for the doctor to declare him dead, but then he just sort of woke up on his own. That's really the explanation that she gives. I don't know either. But yeah, so they're just like, yeah, okay, I guess he's alive, so why should we question this? But he's been acting very strange lately, in that, well, he's gotten a tad obsessed with death. Amazingly, being legally declared dead can do that to a person, or at least I assume. I've never actually been legally declared dead before, so yeah, if you guys have, did you obsess about death a little bit afterwards? Just plain curiosity, I guess. So yeah, but then his wife Natalie decides that, even though they were gonna break it off before he died, him dying has really put things into perspective for her, and she thinks that's worth giving him another shot, but he decides not to because, well, she's gonna die eventually. I mean, I thought that was a given, but yeah, okay. And that makes Natalie very suspicious of Michael. I don't really know why. She just is after this. I don't know. I guess if he didn't say that she was gonna die one day and had an odd obsession with death a little bit, then she would have just been fine with this whole scenario. But since he did, oh no, this is clearly horrible. Who would have thought that guy who died legally would be a little bit interested in death after that? That's so weird. I gotta keep up my guard. Yeah, she makes total sense. But her daughter, Caitlin, by the way, is played by an actress who played Rogue on X-Men Evolution. Yes. So that's cool. But yeah, she's way more open to the idea of Michael having died and even gone to heaven, as he described. So yeah, she's very convinced about that and mostly takes her father's side. So Natalie decides to go to the church, talk to the pastor or something about it. I don't know that much about church hierarchy, so I honestly forgot that if he's the pastor. But yeah, anyway, so she goes to visit him, and he says, yeah, he was probably just dealing with a coma or something. It's no big deal. So Natalie takes that as okay. So Natalie decides that, yeah, alright, you're probably right, and goes home, where Michael has decided why he came back. To kill his daughter. Like you do. But yeah, pretty much he came to that conclusion because his daughter said that they came back for her, and he's like, yeah, to kill you, of course! So he chases her until she locks herself in the bathroom, but eventually he gets that down. They just go on the roof. And for some odd reason, Caitlin doesn't try to fight with him after that. I don't really know why. Until they're on the roof. Maybe you might be a little bit late to start fighting this here, but yeah, anyway, so he tries to commit suicide with her, and Natalie stops him, and then he decides, well, I tried to get you to go with me, and then he falls off the roof, and then his eyes open at the funeral, implying that he'll start again? I don't know. I don't really know why he would be trapped in this, or is this hell? Is he actually trapped in hell where he's forced to live over and over again as staying alive despite clinging to wanting death here? Is that what's going on? Was he obsessed with death in life or something? I also do have a few questions as to why he's being forced to relive this, or at least it's implied that he is. They never actually show if he does come back to life after this, but yeah, it's pretty easy to assume that that's what happened, and yeah, I would actually be kind of curious in seeing if that is the case, and I think that the implications of that are a little bit more interesting than this story, as, yeah, well, it's a fine story, it's been done before, even on a Twilight Zone episode, because the show loves being the Twilight Zone, so yeah, well, it's fine in its execution, and the characters are likable enough, which is a very, very welcome blessing ever since the last story. So, yeah, I was glad about that at the very least, but yeah, it just overall isn't very different from any other version of this type of story. That does make it lacking in originality and makes it pretty predictable. That said, though, it's still a pretty decent story, and I would definitely take rewatching this one over the last one, so yeah, it has that going for it anyway. Yeah, that's kind of it, honestly. It's a fine story, it's got decent acting, and characters are likable enough. Even Michael, even though he gets a mad obsession with death, even up to the point of killing his daughter, he still does seem like he was a nice guy at one point, and you can understand, and you still do feel sorry that he was kind of put in this situation. So it's much better on the execution of the characters than it actually is its own story, as most of them are pretty likable. I mean, to me, Caitlin was a little bit obsessed with religion at a certain point, but yeah, at the very least, she is still a likable enough character, and I think that the acting really does pull her through in this. So yeah, for this story overall, it's okay. Definitely a whole lot better than the last one, which is a welcome blessing. But still, nothing very different from any other version of this type of story. It's fine, and I wouldn't mind rewatching it every now and again, but I don't really think that it's gonna stay with me like some of the other stories on this show have so far. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. Bye.